Hi, and welcome to Ladies of Another View on Back, and happy Flag Day to you.
Yes, indeed.
I'm joined here with Carmen and Cindy and Jim Barnhardt, and they're here to tell us about the Dream Center. They also own J&R Vacuum and Sewing, one of my favorite places.
Thank you.
But I want to first of all say happy Flag Day to everybody. Flag Day started on June 14th, 1777, and it commemorates the adoption of the flag of the United States. So you'll notice we have flags today.
You bet. Yeah, and what a great day it is. And we love our flag. And
We do, and I have Freddie Rios, who makes these little beaded American flags. I thought, oh, today's a good day to wear that.
Right.
He's a 3-time veteran, right, and lives in Mandan.
Yep.
And makes these. And one of the great things about this country is that we really do pull together in a lot of ways, not just with government programs, but we have individuals that step up to the plate. And Jim and Cindy are two of those people. And they're here today to tell us about the Dream Center and the Adopt a Block program. So how about if we start with the Adopt a Block? Is that a good starting place? And tell us what that is.
Well, the Adopt a Block program is actually part of the Dream Centers. There's about 85 Dream Centers internationally. Each one's a little bit different. We're free to function as we like, to tailor it to the local area. As far as the Adopt a Block program, our particular Adopt a Block program takes us out into the community, and we pick up groceries from area grocery stores. That's supplemented by Great Plains Food Bank. And recently, in the typical month, we're distributing somewhere between 120 and 130,000 pounds of groceries per month.
wow. Can I just back up a little bit and can you familiarize our viewers and our audience? What is the Dream Center? What does it do? What's its function, I guess?
Okay, well, maybe I should back up just a little bit more then.
Okay.
It was May 29th of 2016. I had a vision for a community meal with services to help those in need. And I woke up, everything was just there. So apparently God planted that for me. I asked Cindy a little bit later when she got up. This woke me up early. It was like at 5 a.m. So I asked Cindy, what do you think about this? And she said, you know what you need to do? Well, being a good husband, I've been listening and following and started pursuing that, and talked with a lot of pastors in the community leaders, including the mayor, and finally settled down with the banquet here in town. The banquet's been serving, this is our 15th year, and it's a free community meal, and we've expanded that the last few years here. As far as the Dream Center part of it, the way that came about was I was talking with a gentleman one day and describing to him the vision for doing all this, and he stops me and he said, Jim, that's a Dream Center. So I went home and Googled Dream Center that night, and sure enough, that is a Dream Center. The original Dream Center is based in Los Angeles, California, and they have a campus with about 700 individuals, and they do a lot of different community outreaches. And they sanction the other Dream Centers to be active in their market. They're faith-based organizations. And as I said earlier, each one's just a little bit different in what they do.
I like that I read that you had to get approved, first of all.
Yes.
With your plan, and so you are a sanctioned, approved Dream Center now, and it's to serve people in need, and in a lot of different ways, and we'll get more into that. But now you can pretty much adapt according to what you think the community needs, right?
Yes, we really look for unmet community needs and try to fill those needs.
What would those be in the Bismarck area? What kind of needs do we have
Cindy,
here?
would you like to go ahead?
Well, some of the needs that we've identified, of course, is food. There are a lot of people who are food insecure, so it's not that they don't have some food, but they don't always know where their next meal is coming from, or even if they're going to have food at the end of the month. So that's why we started the Adopt-A-Block. We identified that, and then we also identified that some people just don't have they don't have a way to make meals. So expanding the banquet was a really good thing for them. So when we do it to 7 days a week, then nobody has to worry about where their next meal is coming from. So those are two of the things. The other things would be accessibility to health services. They would be just, whatever they need. So maybe you need help with your GED. Maybe you need help with filling out your SNAP forms in order to get your assistance from the government. Or maybe you need just a hand up. Whatever it is, we're willing to do that and to help get you put in with resources, get you connected so that people can not fall into that homeless situation, but be carried up through that and make better decisions with the skills that you give them in order to help them day to day.
I'm going to back up a little bit because I feel like I've been living under a rock. What's the banquet?
Yeah,
I
was
don't
gonna
know what
explain
that
that,
is. Sorry, but
It's funny because, the banquet, a lot of people don't know about it, but even though it's been around for 15 years, because I volunteered a couple times at the banquet, and I wanted to ask you in connection with Carmen's question, because I want people to know what it is, I'm wondering, is it just a unique program here, or is this something that's nationwide, the banquet?
The banquet truly is unique to Bismarck Mandan. It was started at Trinity Lutheran 15 years ago. It was patterned after the banquet in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and that's really where the connection splits at that point. But Trinity Lutheran had nurtured it over the years. When I got involved with it about 6 years ago here, they had just gone to 2 meals a week. I eventually joined the banquet board, and we moved it to first 3 days a week, and now we're operating 4 days a week. The 4th day is Sundays at the Salvation Army. It's a partnership that we have with them. The Trinity has been very good to the banquet over the years, helping it grow, but they can't operate their church if we try to take it to 7 days a week. And I'm really big on people are hungry every day. They need those meals, but they also need a sense of community, and that's what the banquet has been extremely good with over the years is, bringing people in, sitting them down for a meal, and just letting them connect with others. And that's so important, especially in today's society. You've got people there's a lot of singles out there. You've got seniors who don't have anyone. Cooking is sometimes an issue for them.
And I like that too for the seniors or people that are struggling, that don't always, that need a little help and their family's not around. We're going to talk some more about, I want to know how you help people break that dysfunction of relying on handouts all the time and how they can start to stand up on their feet, because I know you're looking out for that too. We'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
If you don't know what's going on in education in this country, then you don't know what's going to happen in the future of this country. And it's important I'm Dr. Duke.
And I'm Katie.
Watch the Dr. Duke Show weekdays at 4 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county.
Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after-hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having Lee Stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news. Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. And we are once again joined with Jim and Cindy Barnhardt. And you might notice that Carmen changed into Jan during the break. So welcome to Jan. And we're talking about the Dream Center. It's a very unique organization, but how many did you say there are around the country? 72?
There's about 85.
85, okay.
Wow.
And they exist to serve the community's needs. You are able to adapt it to the community, and you actually are making connections. You're going to have the banquet, you're going to serve people a meal every day. That's your goal, to do it 7 days a week. But you also want to help break the generational dysfunction that leads to people being victims or dependent on handouts. You want them to get on their own feet, right, and be able to take care of themselves. Now, how are you going to do that?
What we're looking at is having several different agencies work with us so that it would be free for whoever wants to come in, whether it's help with their GED like we talked about before, parenting classes, help with maybe getting rent assistance or whatever it is that they need in order to buoy them up and be a safety net, you know, help them create their own safety net. A lot of generational dysfunction is based on the person's ability to cope and what type of coping mechanisms that they actually already have. And so if we can identify where some of these things can be helped and buoyed up, if they're good coping mechanisms, let's give them better skills there. If they're not so good coping mechanisms, let's try and switch that to something that's better served for them. And once you help a family get to that point, they can make better choices. Their children learn to make better choices, and that dysfunction is broken, so that people can go on to lead more fulfilling lives, and they reach their better potential.
Go ahead, Jan.
I want to play devil's advocate just a little bit, because there's going to be viewers that are like, we have so many services available in this area already, and you know, some of them are charitable. Some of them are taxpayer funded. There's been questions on where does the money come from? Can you kind of help address that? Like, you know, once it's up and running and it's been successful for a while and the donations go down, then where do you get your resources from?
Really, the Dream Center is about connecting people with services that can help them. So, you know, we're not intent on reinventing the wheel. You know, we're going to use existing services. We're going to be the resource spot as far as connecting people. The Dream Center, to get started, we are privately funded, and we really intend on staying there. You know, we're not filling out tons of government grant paperwork trying to earn a living doing this. It's, you know, this is, well, honestly, this is my retirement, is a full-time volunteer. So that's really where we intend on staying with the Dream Center and being that connection point.
That is interesting that you have been a business owner and it's been a successful business, and now you're just taking a complete turn to the right where you're doing something completely different now. And do you even, probably the business is taking a back seat as far as your time commitment, right?
Well, the business is really not taking a
Yeah, I probably said that wrong. I didn't mean
yes,
that.
I've got my wife, Cindy, here, who is...
I know that, Cindy. I said that wrong. Yeah.
I'm now a backseat driver.
Cindy has taken over the day-to-day operation of the business, which really allows me the time to be a full-time volunteer. And, you know, well, I grew up in Mandan and have spent my entire life in the area, but I've been fortunate enough to do a good amount of traveling in my life, business and personal. And really it's, you know, I keep coming back to Bismarck, Mandan. I just love it here. I have no intent on leaving. You know, I've got a sister in Jacksonville, Florida, who would love for me to come down and live there. But, you know, I love it here, and God asked me to do something, and that's what I'm doing. And as long as I can keep doing it, I will. And I'm not that old, so I think we have a lot of years.
Yeah, so he's got another job for you to do. I love how you're open to that and are answering the call. You know, one thing that really concerns me, not just in this area, but across the country, probably around the world, is absentee fathers. And I'm wondering if you're aware of any programs that, I don't know, where do you begin? But that we need to have more fathers with strong values, doing parenting, involved in their children's lives. Are there any programs here to help that?
I think that there are. There are several different avenues that we could take with that, whether it be you know, a mentoring program, which is a very big possibility, or even a program to help people find their worth in what God's called them to be. And that's a father, a husband, even a good child, you know, for a parent. So if you teach people what their real worth is, they're willing to give that worth to other people too, and to buoy them up in that particular thing. But yeah, there are different programs that are available. We'll be working with a couple of them. So definitely, and not just for fathers, but mothers too. I mean, sometimes you just feel so overwhelmed by having to be superwoman. You have to have a job, you have to raise your children, you've got to be a good cook, you've got to be a good wife, you've got all of these demands that society makes on you, and yet you're not really being true to who God's called you to be. So when you find what your calling is and you're the best in it, whether it's a mother or a wife or whatever that is, whatever God's called you to be, you just be the best version of you that you can possibly be. And a lot of the stress in life is taken off because you're looking at just this one path that you're doing that will affect everybody in your life in a positive manner, and so things just tend to fall into place.
And there is a faith element, right?
Yes.
You know, so often with government programs, there's everything but faith.
Yes.
And I think that's where you should start. And so it's nice that that's a part of it so people can turn to that for support.
The other thing too is Jim mentioned that it was privately funded, but we're very volunteer driven. There aren't any paid employees through the Dream Center. As far as the banquet, there are 1.5, but that's because that's what they do full time for a living. But through the Dream Center, we're all volunteer driven. So we've been able to manage that, and people they love to help.
Right, and so they do it because they care, and
They
then
do
there's
it,
a camaraderie in
definitely.
that, and obviously Jim knows because he can't give it up now. I mean, you're just like getting addicted to volunteering.
You know, sometimes with volunteering, after I get done, I feel like I got more out of it than the people
You
that I
hear that
serve.
all the time too.
You know, it's just
Well, our
fantastic.
time here is come to an end, and I want to thank you for coming on today, Jim and Cindy. And if you want to know more information, I would go to dreamcenterbismarck.org. You also have a Facebook page too that you can go to, the Dream Center of Bismarck. So thanks for joining us. We'll be right back after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you.
What happens with national debt? Does anybody even care anymore?
Do you think Governor Burgum truly understands the legislative process?
You know, I think he's got a better understanding now than he did 2 years ago.
Why in the world are we having a conversation about being anti-vaccination? Down the road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
How will we?
The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Hey, welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and here we are, all three of us for today, Jan and Carmen and Patty. I didn't bother to say who I am, and we're kind of switching gears because we don't have a guest that we thought we were going to have, and so you have us instead, right?
That's all right. Yep. We are your guests right now. There you go.
And we do like to have people in our community that are building up our community. But at the same time, we are of the opinion that we don't like people just becoming dependent on handouts. And so it's absolutely wonderful to pitch in and volunteer, and we need that. We need that because some people don't have a good family background.
So what are we doing with all of the other services that are existing now? We have homeless shelters, we have soup kitchens, we have all of these services, and God bless these people for what they're doing, but this seems a little bit like overkill to me.
Well, and I don't know that I'd say so much overkill as much as just listening to them talk, and they're wonderful people. You can tell they're very
Agreed.
spiritually driven, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know.
Amen.
But one thing that they did say that had me thinking was, it's basically, if I understood what they were getting across, was they can be a bridge so that people who aren't connected to this service or that service or whatever else, they can help bridge that gap. But that to me was just like big sirens going off, because it speaks to what I've thought for many years, in that this system itself is broken. And so when you have all these people, and we seem to be getting more and more people who need whatever it is, food, clothing, shelter, services of one kind or another, we get more and more and more of them, it seems like. And why is that? And that's where my brain goes. Why is there more instead of less? If all of the help that's being given is working, would you not think there would be less people in need? But that's not what I'm seeing. And so my brain says, what's going on? Why is that happening?
But look at society. We've got broken families. And nowadays it's not politically correct to even call them broken families. But I'm sorry, but they are. You know, there's a lot of brokenness in our society. And then at the same time, you create dependencies, and it's just a mixed bag. It's not all this or all that, because people are always going to need help. But if there is a cycle of dysfunction, it's going to mushroom, right? And I think we do need programs that are helping people to change that and to chart another course. And, okay, let me just say this. And then one thing I do like about what Jim and Cindy are doing is they are not creating new programs, number one. Number two, there's a faith element that's missing when you get government programs. We used to run a group home for delinquent boys in Montana, and they found out we were taking them to church. And they said, you can't do that. You can't take them to church. We said, okay, well, everything is given to them. They have a lot of opportunities and people taking care of them. I mean, granted, it's too bad to be a teenager and to be in a group home. That's not the best situation. But, you know, their clothes, we would go to the water slide and do a lot of fun stuff. Everything's taken care of for them. I said, they need to give back into the community. That's an important part of developing character. And they can, and I came up with all these different volunteer opportunities that they could participate in. And the boys are like, yeah, you can't make us go to church. And they were all excited. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I made it easy for them. I gave them lots of suggestions. I said I'd help them set it up. Well, Sunday rolled around and nobody had gotten anything set up. And they go, I guess we'll just go to church, because that could count for their 1 hour of giving back. And that's what we did every Sunday. We kept going to church, but it was their choice.
Right.
They could volunteer and do something else if they wanted, and nobody did it. But my point is, we were supposed to operate like a family, but the state said you can't tell them they have to go to church. So they always take that faith element, and I think a big part of their problems is because they don't have faith in their life.
Well, I think of the movie line that says, if you build it, they will come. And that's my fear here. We have other faith-based opportunities in our state, things where the people have, and I've got to echo here, I'm sorry, where we have things in our state where the intent has been really good. Lutheran Social Services, placing children that need to either have foster care or adoption services. And I look at what happened to that. The taxpayers are now burdened with that. I don't want this one to become another one of those. So even though it is currently volunteer-based and faith-based, and it is had people that have ponied up the money to get the building and the whole program going, and this is just me personally, so I have a fear that once it's up and running and everything's going, all of a sudden this is another one that'll get turned over to the rest of us. And at what point do we say no? At what point do we say we want you to get a job? I understand that there are marginalized people. I understand that we give labels to all of these things. There's also food insecurity, that's a new one. It seems like too many crutches to me.
Okay, I'm in North Dakota, born and bred, lived here all my life, and you know what? My sister used to say in the 80s, Carmen, we're one generation too far removed from the farm. Now what the heck does that even mean? It means that when you're on the farm, if you don't feed those cattle, they're gonna die. You're not gonna make any money because you can't sell them anywhere to make your money. You have to be willing to sacrifice and not be comfortable and not look to others to do for you, because dang it, if you want to eat, that's biblical. You don't work, you don't eat.
True.
That's biblical. And I know many people. My heart goes out to them. They have real need. It's real.
Very much.
I believe we are creating some of the problem because the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I grew up hearing that my whole life, and it's true. I many times have had to say within my sphere of people, are you helping or are you hurting by helping someone? And we've gotten to the point, because everything's so politically correct or your voice is silenced, who gets to define dysfunction? Who gets to define normal? Who gets to do it? Because I'll tell you what, the way I grew up, the way a lot of people grew up, today's world, that would be very, very, very borderline. There's a lot of dysfunction going on there because it's a new world, right? It's a new day. No, who gets to define it? And I think it goes right back to local control. When you've got enough people in your community that believe a certain way, and you're going to let some outside entity come in from Minnesota or Montana or I don't care where, DC, and tell you, no, this is your new normal. You need to get used to it. That's where the people of the community need to step up and say, you know what, this has worked for us for 200 years. When our ancestors came here, this is how we worked and this is how we lived. And it's worked just fine. Thank you very much. Keep your money, keep your ideas. We're doing fine.
Yep.
But we don't hear that anymore because that's not politically correct and you're not being a team player. Everything's about team. Everything's a blue ribbon if you just participate. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it's changing our entire society. And it's normalizing behaviors that when we grew up, those were not normal at all.
No, it seems like we're enabling victimhood.
Exactly, exactly. And that's become a badge of honor. Oh, what happened to you? Oh, you poor thing. Oh, well, listen here, I had it even worse. I had, you know, and that becomes a status symbol.
Okay. We're going to continue this. See what happens when the guest doesn't show up. You get us and lots of it. So we have more to say
today, David.
Good for you, Carmen. We have more to say when we come back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. What happens with national debt? Does anybody even care anymore? Do you think Governor Burgum truly understands the legislative process?
You know, I think he's got a better understanding now than he did 2 years ago.
Why in the world are we having a conversation about being anti-vaccination. Down the road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news. Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back, and we were just talking, sharing our mind about some of the pros and cons of you absolutely have to help people. We can't have
Correct.
people
Exactly.
not eating, and you know this is a first world country. We need to take care of our poor and our needy and our sick and our elderly. But there's a problem, right? Where you get too much of a good thing and then it ends up doing more damage than good. And I actually have a degree in social work. I've worked in the field. I want to help the needy, but I also don't think handouts are good. I agree. Because I think it hurts people. They become dependent. They don't rely on themselves. They don't push themselves. And the rest of us have to work
Twice as hard, and you know, everybody that needs help should get help. I don't disagree with that, and I don't want to sound cold-hearted. I just know that there are people, even in our community right here, that they know where every free meal is every day of the week, and they don't work hard to get off of that system. And that's the only reason I'm bringing it up, is I don't think that it should cost all of us for those few.
Right, and you know, it's no different than what we're hearing because of the COVID unemployment dollars across the nation. How many people are just not going back to work? Because they're getting paid more to stay home.
Yes.
And so if your belly's full and you've got your, you know, your Xbox going because somehow you've got your electricity and you're living in, you know, government housing, whatever, and what's your incentive?
Yeah.
What is your incentive? But the incentive is that we have lost in our society is that there is pride in creating, in doing. And when you have skin in the game, it's like you hear over and over people who rent apartments or houses or something. If they're not having to pay anything for that rent, they're not having to pay anything for the furniture or and then now the food and all the stuff, they have no skin in the game. They have no reason to not trash things.
Correct.
Because they know that they're going to be moving and
Then
somebody
they
else
don't take care of it.
Somebody else
Yes.
is going to have to pay to fix it. I don't care.
They found that out with housing projects. They didn't
Exactly.
take care of it. But when they had it, where you had to earn it, when maybe you had to help build it or earn some equity in it, then they took care of it.
Exactly.
That made all the difference, right?
And it does. And even if you can only contribute what you can contribute, whether it's your rent, whether it's your whatever, and you have to be able to pay that stuff, that's a little bit of skin in the game where it's like, especially when you're trying to be a good parent or a good somebody with your elderly parent or whatever, to try and provide something, it's a whole different ballgame then.
That's what Habitat for Humanities did.
Yes, exactly.
If you wanted a home that you could live in and call your own, you helped build it or remodel it or whatever.
So they helped you and helped you get something that you couldn't get on your own, but you took pride in it because you worked hard. I think the prime example right now is with this extra unemployment, that people are making more money staying home collecting unemployment than they did working. And that has created a problem across the country where there are people looking to hire employees and nobody's applying and they're not showing up. I just talked to somebody who works at the Coca-Cola plant here in town over the weekend at an open house, and he said they had 18 people that applied for jobs, set up interviews, and were no-shows. 18, but they're trying to get to the bottom of it by reporting people that don't show up for their interviews. And I talked to my dad yesterday. He lives in assisted living at an American house in Dearborn, Michigan. He says, boy, do they got a problem. Corporate has to come and help serve and work in the cafeteria. Why? Because they have jobs and nobody's applying for them because they can sit at home and get their unemployment. So that is what we're talking about.
But that's the other thing, because our schools, everything feeds everything else. And so our schools aren't teaching our kids that, you know what, when you turn 18, 15, I don't care when it is, and you start paying taxes, you are paying for the very thing that you're doing right now, sitting on your butt when you could be out there working. You're going to wind up paying for other people to do that. And it's amazing how the shift happens in kids when they come out of high school, college, whatever it is, and they start that good job, and they look at their paycheck and they go, what? What?
Yeah,
what?
Look at how much they're taking
Well, you know
out.
how far in debt this country is now because of the ludicrousness of paying people to sit home and not pulling that as soon as they could so we can get this economy back. And you're teaching our kids and our young adults and our old adults, yep, the longer you sit still, the more the government's going to take care of you, and you're going to have a full belly, and you're going to have heat, and you're going to have lights, and hey, you got it made.
That's called socialism, folks.
Yes,
and
it is.
We are sliding down that slippery slope.
We are moving down that road at rapid speed now with COVID. Ever since COVID hit, it has like just gone.
Well, and they wonder why they call it a pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Exactly.
I want to say, though, I'm hoping with the Dream Center that they have good hearts and good intentions and that they are trying to stop the cycle of dysfunction. And so
I think
and they are not creating new programs, and they are including the faith element.
Every social service program out there,
right?
That's their forte. We're going to stop whatever it is. We're going to help. We're going to do.
I know.
And then pretty soon it's like, no, you're just going to do like we tell you to do, and your life's going to be great. And people are going, yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's not me. No, I'm not in.
Let's we'll talk about this on future shows because I really think it should be its own show.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a lot of
There's
elements
so
to
much.
it.
There
in order
is.
to keep our country strong.
And our state and our
need,
communities.
We need people to be contributors.
Exactly.
Not just takers.
Not
and maybe
takers.
if they're takers just for a short time to get them over the gap, but not for it not to be a lifestyle.
Stop idolizing victimhood. Please, God, stop idolizing victimhood. That's the number one offender.
I think that brings us back to our day today, our Flag Day, National Flag Day.
Being proud of our country.
In the background, and we just have a few fun facts. 10 Flag Day facts for fun that you may not know. That was a quick switch over. We're going to get back to this topic
Here's
again.
your evolution.
Oh, look at all these. Sons of Liberty.
Liberty.
So there were many different designs, that we came upon before settling on.
I'm
glad we didn't pick that one.
That's the one.
I like that one.
Yeah. Some countries, there's a lot of countries that have similar flags, like with the circles, with the stars, and French Alliance. Look at this. All the different. So
Our staff is amazing, by the way.
While we can read some of this while we're seeing these different pictures. In 1916, President Woodrow Wilson is recorded as officially setting June 14th as Flag Day. Even with Wilson's act on a federal level, the holiday was not passed by Congress. So I don't know what happened. How can we have a Flag Day then? Go ahead, Jan. Go on to the
Well,
next
I
one.
just want to say happy birthday to the United States Army, because Flag Day and the United States Army share the same birthday.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. The design of the American flag was not made official until 1912. I did not know that. At that time, a governmental order adopted the current design. Isn't that something? And then we just added stars as we added states. And I didn't know that until I was somewhere in adulthood, that's how stars got added. I thought they were all always there, but then suddenly there were two more.
I was going to say, suddenly there were two more during the Obama administration. So he said 52.
And they had to decide like stripes and stars, like what do you do? I remember reading about it because as a homeschool mom, I learned a lot.
13 colonies.
Yeah,
13 stripes.
colonies.
Yeah.
That's
That
what
one
the
I knew.
stripe. Yeah, a lot of people may not know that.
Yeah.
That those 13 stripes represent the 13 original colonies in the United States.
And the red stands for valor and hardiness. The blue stands for justice, perseverance, and vigilance. And the white stands for innocence and purity. Boy, if we had all of those combined, we would have a nation, wouldn't we?
Yes.
And you know that innocence and purity and how much our country has forgotten as well when we go back to the founding. The Pilgrims and the Magna Carta and the things that aren't getting taught in our schools anymore, how much of a part Christianity played, and Judaism played, in the creation of our Constitution, in the creation of our country. And you know, that faith-based, that's what built us.
That's the backbone.
And that's what sustains us.
And that's going to lead into our, when we go to the next segment on the lighter side, when you talk about what's not being taught in our schools anymore, and our culture that's become so woke, that we're gonna we're gonna laugh instead of cry when we talk about that on the next segment. We've got something humorous for you. So stay with us, and we'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature Heroes, with the region's only Hero meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having Lee Stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. And do you know what time it is now?
Lighter side.
Woo-hoo! Lighter side, and it's also time for another JP Sears video. Yes. He has important messages, and he's had to disguise these messages in satire of late so he doesn't get canceled. So he's going to help us with what's going on with the cancel culture, and he made a video called How Woke People Evolved to Be Superior.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Nice.
And they thrive eating a diet primarily based in propaganda. When learning about the woke, it's best to think of evolution as a spectrum. Intelligence evolved into outrage, freedom evolved into obedience, love evolved into hate, and self-responsibility evolved into socialism. Studying ancient iterations of people reveals interesting hieroglyphic evidence that they worshipped a rather primitive interpretation of a non-human god, one that was all-loving in them and around them at all times, and to be trusted as the most important source of life guidance, whereas the woke have several gods in human form that they're very obedient to. The woke have advanced their genetic IQs to the point that they no longer base facts on truth. Now this is an exciting intellectual advancement that previous hominous eras only could have imagined. And the advanced lack of activity in the cerebral cortex of the woke has allowed them to develop the ability to shapeshift objective reality, primarily by changing the definitions of words. Found the now extinct primitive people had what's called a backbone, which is in part what led to their demise. But through genetic adaptation, the woke have replaced the backbone with conformity. The woke have an impressive ability to blame other people for virtually any problem they encounter, which allows them to quickly and easily overcome any obstacle.
I can make that face, by the way.
but I won't. Do it on your own time.
Yeah,
Jan.
exactly.
No, I'm just
I love this video, and I'm going to post it in its entirety on our Facebook page, Ladies of Another View. And we have been shadow banned because by the woke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you know what I put on just this past weekend, and I was warned, basically threatened by Facebook. I can say it here because they're not watching me here, are they?
No.
I think we're
who
safe
knows?
here on Beck.
I think so.
So there was a study by the hydroxychloroquine having very successful results in India. They didn't say this was fake news. They said this is dangerous news. Do you agree with us? I had to check a box. Do I agree or do I not agree? And then I was going to be at risk of being taken down.
Wow.
So talk about blackmail.
Yes.
No, it's not dangerous information because I know we interviewed before Dr. Peter McCullough, who is an instructor at Texas A&M Medical School, and he has his own patients, and he says there's a lot of different treatments that are making a difference, from ivermectin to hydroxychloroquine and other treatments. But if we even mention it, if we even put that name on Facebook, we get canceled out.
I know that my daughter is an administrator on a page that has a lot of holistic information, and they have a whole page of terms, words, phrases that they have forbid everybody on the page to use, even in conversation, because if any of them get used, the whole page is at risk of being deleted by Facebook. Talk about control.
Talk about, and I hope that the viewers, if you go to becknews.com, you can see some of our old episodes too, and there's things in there that we've shown where we are so on the path of what took place in pre-Hitler Germany. Yes. We are so on the path of what went on in China.
And Russia.
And Russia. And it's not being taught in our schools, surprise, surprise, but that's what's going on. And it's not where they're gonna one day, in one day flat, all of a sudden they bomb everybody and we're done. No, this has been going on for 40 years, and so we really need to wake up, not be woke, but wake up to what's really being done. They are creating a superior race, but they don't label it that.
Correct.
They are creating government control of everything, but they don't call it that. They call it such a nice fluffy word here and there, and so you think they're helping you. They're not helping. They're just not. So, anyway.
Well, and that's why Beck.News you can go to and learn more about some of our shows. There's a lot of other shows too, like Doug Billings and
No Apologies.
Down the Road with Joel and
No Apologies
Lori
with Rick and Lori. Yes.
And, this was supposed to be the lighter side, and maybe it hasn't been so light, but I just think J.P. Sears is a genius.
Yes, he
in
is.
that he is humorous, and yet he's getting the message through, and we see it loud and clear.
Right,
but then the woke crowd, he's not playing into their game of, wait, he said this, he didn't say that.
Right.
But we know what he meant, right?
Right,
Yes.
right. Yep,
Yeah.
it's great. And the prehistoric, whatever he said, that they had this thing called a backbone. I love
Crazy.
it.
Great in that, yeah. So
I love it.
We need to continue trying to have our backbones and getting the message through. And it's tough. It's tough because I wanted people to know, like, hey, this study is showing great results, but Facebook won't let you know that. Right. And that should be alarming to everybody, and we need to keep our eyes out. We need to look for good sources. You need to tune in to Beck and all our news programs because we try to get the news to you as we find it, and we have to do a lot of digging to get to the truth oftentimes. But thank you for joining us, and coming up next is Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp, and we hope to see you again tomorrow with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
May she wave.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Just like you, I had problems sleeping. I tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. 15 years ago, I invented MyPillow. It took me 2 years to develop because I wanted to have everything you would ever want in a pillow. I made sure that you could adjust my patented fill so you could have the exact support you need as an individual regardless of your sleep position. I also wanted a pillow that would last, so I made MyPillow machine washable and dryable. I back MyPillow with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, I do all my own manufacturing in my home state of Minnesota.
I really like the fact that it was made in the USA. I think that USA products are a better quality product. I've tried a lot of other pillows and nothing's worked like MyPillow. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
I used to think that sheets were just sheets. I got the Giza Dream sheets. They are the most comfortable sheets I've ever had.
The Go Anywhere pillow is so easy to just roll up and take anywhere I want to go.
Go Anywhere pillow is really comfortable, so that's what I really like. It's nice and supportive and it's nice and small.
The MyPillow topper, for the first time, has enabled me to have a cool night's sleep. I'm able to go to bed and just get rest.
That's 3 inches of wonderful that's in the MyPillow mattress topper. It's just like a firm cloud.
MyPillow helps me get a good night's sleep so I can do my job in the morning.
Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but so much more. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.